income kids that aren't going to nursery school and have parents that are sitting down with them and teaching them to catch up to their peers when they enter kindergarten.
Yeah.
Because obviously the big issue in K through 12 is, depending on your socioeconomic place, is you're just behind. And therefore you're spending a lot of time trying to get those kids to catch up to their peers. So at the end of the day, I believe that's what PBS is all about.
Yeah, that's true.
Do students have accounts where you can tell how to do on their first ever playthrough of the game, and then of course because you might probably have some selection into kids who continue to play based on them being good enough.
Distinguishability and identity is key to all of this working, but you can't ask a kid that can't read yet or understand, or a kid that doesn't understand virtual identity to create a full account. At the same time, even kids who can, if you want them to create an account, it doesn't mean that they want to create an account, so they have to want to create an account. Back to motivation structures, reward structures, incentive. And so there are a number of different strategies in play that all, when taken together, constitute our actual strategy, which is what they're able to do, what can we make them want to do, and then now we have that level of distinguishability for identity. So we do have account systems. You can create full credentialed account systems, safe, private, but not that many kids do. And unless we go out of our way to make pieces of media that they can create themselves and then save. When they self-express their own identity through interactives and can save their own user-generated content, then they actually care enough to go do that kind of thing. But until we make something that they understand and care about, it's pretty much a non-starter. Yeah, there's a lot of debate right now about what you have to do to get a parent to want to engage in the tool. Is this just a no-brainer? Are they going to use it? No, I don't think it is at all. In fact, I think this is a key challenge. Parents will tell you that they really care. Parents will tell you that they want to be a good parent. It's aspirational. They will repeatedly give you false information about their expectations for how they will use a product like this. It isn't until you pin them down with crafty strategies before you can start to give it the truth. One example would be the third time. I had them tell me what I wanted to hear through 2 different trials with parents, finding out what they think about some things. Finally, on the 3rd trial, the innovation in the design was to have them plot their day before we show them any products or ask them anything about this. Plot their day. Then we had them circle the parts of their day where they think they're actively involved in parenting. So they did that. Then we showed them all the products, and then we said, hey, would you use it? And they told us the same story. Yeah, we would. And then we said, now please point on the diagram of your day where you would actually use this. And they all said, oh yeah, I don't know, I'm not sure, because they're so busy. So,
but don't you think being able to tie it to something that was, if you directly show there was no way to school readiness, you might be able to get parents more involved?
I want that to be true, yeah.
Are you guys know what I want? No, is that something is that a strategy that you explored further? Or?
It's something that we're looking at now. We're definitely not giving up on this. This is key. We already know that when the parent is involved, that the outcomes are way better. So
but what about a build-a-child game for the parent? No, in other words, you gamify for the parent. You're making the parent into some kind of wise educational administrator.
Yes.
Why not? So
They give
those too.
Parent beds.
You could even have pornography, I guess. Something that would entice them. I'm just, no, I'm sorry about pornography, but I'm just thinking how to motivate the parents.
We need to innovate here. We need to manage the psychology of the parents. We need to meet them where they are. We need to use what they have, and we need to let them do it.
Well, could you design games that are sort of more intensive with like conscientiousness, more intensive kind of like curiosity,
Yeah.
open? I'm just, again, using Big 5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. There's a game we have that has nothing to do with math whatsoever. You sit down at a table, all of your character friends are there, and it's a tea party, and you get to hand out cookies, and you actually get some or tea, and you get some feedback from time to time. Give any cookies to this person, and it just sort of observes that, and we would actually know if you shared equally in the first place, And if, when prompted, did you correct any inequity, like sort of things like that?
So does the tea party really capture interaction among groups? I mean, it's a virtual tea party.
Yeah, these are NPCs.
Can you relate to some of the other measures? I mean, when you go across games that these people have played, inventories, in some way they're developing an inventory of social and emotional skills, or
We're at the very beginning of this. This is the learner profile work. So I see it in two huge buckets. One is get all of the things you think might be relevant and co-locate them so that you can organize them by individual.
Yeah.
And the second is a free-for-all on interpretation. I'm not sure what the strategy is there.
How can you be certain that what you're seeing is the child, a particular individual interacting with the app versus the parent helping them, a sibling, a friend doing some sort of co-op mode?
No, there's definitely
And
gonna be noise.
do you
like
have
that.
any-
We've done some prototypes on facial recognition and age detection. It's early in that space. I don't have a lot of confidence in it right now, but the idea was to be able to determine whether there's more than one peer or an adult and child scenario going on at the same time and pass back and forth.
do they have a set of goals within the, in other words, over multiple trials?
Yes.
Yeah. So you keep an inventory.
Incentive structures.
Yeah. No, the
Yes.
incentive structure cumulative, I've climbed, I'm now at climbing Magma Peak, I guess, a volcano, so I go up. You're now at 10,000 feet,
You
I
unlock.
want to go to 11 or something.
As you go, you're unlocking pieces of a statue for a statue island that rises out of the water. And the statues are of your favorite characters, and you're unlocking sticker books, and you're unlocking additional interactives. And so as you go, you're getting immediate rewards that you can then build like a puzzle into your favorite character, but you're also getting additional things that kids really love. For example, sticker books. Sticker books are a big thing. Stickers are a big deal to a 3-year-old.
Do you give punishments too? Suppose they fail, does their island start cutting
I'm
off?
sure that
No, I'm just curious what your experimental incentive structure.
I don't think we punish them
What's that?
in the honest sense of that word, but we do give feedback intended to help them go metacog about certain things that maybe they're doing related to the curriculum. So you can say, oh, I don't think that would work. That's going to work at all because, or that kind of thing. And I'll talk about some of our feedback structures in the next product, which is one of our recent attempts to really get serious about instruction and feedback in VoiceOver and what that model looks like.
Of a kid-facing product.
What about the parent's environment? I mean, some measure of the home, in addition to what immediately the parents are doing with your product.
Currently very limited, I would say, right?
Okay.
Yeah, no, we're not.
You wouldn't know kind of what effect you might be.
No, but that kind of background information would be amazing. Like, that's the kind of thing we should be
Right.
thinking about.
Do you have plans to do that?
Not currently, but that doesn't mean that we couldn't consider it.
Okay.
We've got some discretion in terms of what the out years of the grant do in terms of study.
Because we see in some of these analyses, tremendous changes in family structure, in family approach to the child.
Yeah, based on, oh, sure.
Intervention,
Yeah, poverty, how many words?
No, exactly, but
yeah.
also just literally the change in the parental strategies.
Yeah, no, it's okay. So the short version is, we are doing ethnographic studies of parents and their environment, but it's not connected with this data and telemetry study, so I won't be able to line it up. We do have distributions, and we do have an idea of our audience, especially Title I and low income, and what we try to focus on the underserved. And so we know a lot about sort of what's going on, but this particular data telemetry study we're going to talk about that isn't lining up. The idea behind this platform is to really scrutinize and try to help us discover the models, discover the things that are predictive, and discover the patterns that are important.
So how do you get the kid to get into Visual?
It's available for free on the App Store. Typically, the use case is the parent notices it because they're looking for an educational game.
But how do you entice the child to get into the
Over
system?
broadcast. Like social media spots, little bumpers on broadcast, that kind of thing.
I see.
Yeah. If I can get access to the mass media channel, that's like done.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and what do you get a sense of if you do? I'm just getting, again, going back to the how many kids, how easy is it to enroll? Suppose you have a group of preschoolers and you want to target them, say, in Los Angeles
Yeah.
community. How do I get all of them into this?
So it is intended primarily for the home use case, but if you were running a preschool and you wanted them to use it, you would go to the App Store and you download it. It's free. Both of these are free. However,
You can download it, they may just ignore it.
oh, yeah.
So how do you get them to groove out on this?
They have to want to, so it's a
Right.
it's a
How do you get
strategy
them?
involved in the design,
Right.
make it appealing. Use characters that they love.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you've experimented with that, though. You know how to entice them? No, I'm
The
just,
people that make the media, I think, do. Yeah, they've got a track record of really great success in terms of getting kids to care.
okay.
We sink or swim based on the kids' choices. Like if we don't make something the kid wants to choose over Toca Boca, over other things, we're sunk. So a lot of our effort goes into engagement strategies. In fact, our learning model has a giant engagement factor that multiplies everything. It doesn't matter how good your instructional strategy is. If your engagement goes to zero, you lost the entire game. So everything underpins on getting the kid to care. Yeah, and we try to do it in trustworthy ways.
But you would put this on an ad, for example, in a PBS program.
Yeah, that's how we do it.
Okay, so Mr. Rogers could, well, he's not around.
Yeah.
I would just says it. Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to say.
Frank Rogers could show a little app with the training going on.
They have.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to point out is that this is intended for a parental use case. Like the entire brand supervision is that the mom's got superpowers and that she can see what's going on. So if you were running a preschool, you would not necessarily find the user experience here that would help you do class management or grouping or that kind of thing. It's not made for you specifically. You could probably get by and get some value out of it. But that kind of experience is something we have yet to do and that we're interested in. With the whole setup, ultimately what I would like to do is have enough representations of force and motion and enough representations of this math deal and enough representation of the social and emotional, all feeding into a vector of the learning that itself has an interpretive layer on top of it that we could argue about for years about all the hypotheses about how to take those inputs and turn them and do all the analysis for all those really high value inputs and determine what they are predictive of. So I am not necessarily trying to maximize any individual outcome at this time. I am trying to make a system by which we have reasonable extraction of high value tidbits about individuals and we co-locate those things so that we can take that profile and try to do productive things with it.